Good morning, students. So, in solvency ratio, there is a 4 types of ratio. No, so we finished the first type, that is debt to equity ratio. So next we are going to see the second type of solvency, that is total asset to debt ratio. Total asset to from the type, that is from the name itself, it's very easy to write the ratio, that is total assets divided by long term asset. So what is the purpose of calculating the total asset to debt ratio? That is, higher the ratio, so by after calculating this ratio, if it is in the higher means, if the ratio is in the higher means, it is very helpful to safeguard the external funds, higher safety to the external funds providers. So it gives the higher safety to the providers who are investing in the long term, that is called as the external fund providers. Okay, so this is the formula. And when we are calculating the total asset, so we have to include all the current asset and non-current asset, but we should not include the deferred tax assets and unamortized expenses or losses. Okay, so these two items we should not take into consideration while calculating the total asset. Next, the long-term debts we already studied. So long-term debts include the long-term borrowings and long-term provisions. We already know that. Okay, so this is the formula. So first see the sum. So they asked to calculate the total asset to debt ratio. What is the formula? Total assets divided by debt, that is long-term debt. Okay, so in this sum, current asset, working capital, shareholders funds, total debt and reserves and surplus are given in this sum. Okay, so first we have to write the formula, and first next one we have to find the total asset. So what is the total asset? That is, in as per this sum we have to see, that is, see, this is the balance sheet, no? So it is the asset side, it is the liability. So in asset we have to include the current asset, non-current asset. So here shareholders fund, current liabilities, non-current liabilities, that is a total liability, this is the total asset, and this two amounts would be equal in the balance sheet. Okay, this is the format, no? So we have to see what are all the informations which is available to calculate the total asset. Okay, so even if it is current asset and non-current asset is not given, to calculate the total asset is equal to the total liability. I'm right. So in the balance sheet, the asset and liability should be tally. Okay, so total asset equal to total liability. So in this sum, you are having the shareholders fund and total debt. Total debt equal to, what is the total debt? Total debt equal to, what is that? Current liabilities plus non-current liabilities. I'm right. Okay, so total debt plus shareholders fund. I'm right. So current liability and non-current liability is called as the total debt, which is in the sum itself. So next one is shareholders fund is also in the sum itself. So by adding the two amount, we will get the total asset. It is called as a total liability, but total liability is equal to the total asset. Okay, next we have to come to the debt. So formula is total assets we calculated. Next one is the long-term debt. So how to calculate the long-term debt? In this long-term debt, actually what is the formula? See here, total debt equal to current liabilities plus non-current liabilities. Okay, this non-current liabilities is called as the long-term debt. I'm right. Current liabilities plus non-current liabilities. The non-current liabilities, it is include the long-term debt. So long-term debt means long-term borrowings and long-term provisions. I'm right. Okay, so see the sum. So we need the long-term debt. So in order to calculate the long-term debt, where is that? In order to calculate the long-term debt, how to calculate the long-term debt? From the total debt, if we are subtracting the current liability, the balance amount is the long-term debt. I'm right, because the long-term debt plus current liability is the total debt. So we are having in this sum total debt and current liability. Okay. So from this we can able to calculate the long-term debt. Okay, wow. It's a very simple sum. So how to first in this sum the current liability is not given directly. We have to find the amount of current liability. To calculate the current liability, there is one of the hint, that is the working capital is given. So what is the formula? Working capital equal to current asset minus current liability. So we are having the working capital amount as 6,50,000. We have to apply in this working capital equal to current asset, that is 11 lakhs minus current liability. Okay, so 11 lakhs minus 6,50,000 is 4,50,000. That is the current liability. Okay, so definitely there will be some of the hint to find the missing figure. We have to know all the formulas. We should be very thorough in all the formulas and the basic concept. It's a very simple sum. Okay, so see the next sum. Calculate the total asset to debt ratio. So what are all the information? That is equity share capital, preference share capital. So these are all the shareholders funds. Okay, fixed asset, non-current investment, these are all the asset. Reserves and surplus, it is coming in the shareholders fund. I'm right. Current asset and current liabilities. Okay, so see the sum. So what is the formula? First we have to write the formula, that is total asset divided by long term debt. In this, first we have to find the total asset. So this is total asset is the fixed asset, non-current investment and the current asset. I'm right. So all this amount, if you are adding all this amount in the asset side, we will get the total asset. Okay, the next one is the long term debt. What are all the long term debt? So see the liability side, first one is the shareholders fund, that is in this sum we are having equity share capital, preference share capital, reserves and surplus, which is in the liability side. I'm right. And next one is the we are having the current liabilities. Current liabilities also given in this sum, but we need the long term debt. So how to calculate the long term debt? So the long term debt equal to total liabilities. What is the total liability? I already told, total liability equal to total asset. Okay, so from the first step we calculated the total asset. The total asset is equal to the total liabilities. I am right. So from the total liabilities, if you are subtracting the equity share capital, preference share capital, reserves and surplus and current liabilities, the balance amount is called as the long term debt. Okay, so afterwards we have to apply in the formula and we have to find the ratio, that is 5.13:1. It's a very simple sum. Okay, so next see the 40th sum. Equity share capital, long term borrowings, balance in the statement of profit and loss, it is called as the, it is the surplus, so it is the profit, so it is the accumulated profit which is in the liability side. I'm right. Next one is the general reserve, current liabilities and long term provisions. So first we have to write the, what is that, ratio. What is the formula? Total asset divided by debt, that is called as the long term debt, that is the formula. First you are going to calculate the total asset. So we already know total asset equal to total liabilities. So what are all the informations in this sum? Equity share capital, long term borrowings, and this is also in the liability side. So this amount, because it is a profit, if it is the loss, we have to subtract that amount. Keep in your mind, it is the profit, so we have to add. And general reserves and long term provisions, so these are the items which is coming in the liability side. Current liabilities also coming in this total liabilities. Okay, so all the amount, that is 4 lakhs, 1,80,000, 1,70,000, 30,000 and 1,20,000. This all these items is coming in the liability side, that is the total liabilities. So total liability is equal to the total asset. Okay, next we have to find the long term debt. How to calculate the long term debt? So in this sum, see, long term borrowings is there and long term provisions is there. It is given separately, so it is a very easy sum. Okay, next, so do this sum as a homework sum. Okay, it's a very simple sum, so it is also the homework sum. So 43 is also, so in this sum, so there is a new item, capital employed. Capital employed, that is the including all the, what is that, capital employed means it is the amount include, that is share capital, preference share capital, reserves and surplus, profit and loss, if it is the balance in the statement of profit and loss, if it is a profit. If all the amount include, that is adding all the amount, is called as the capital employed. Okay, this is only, this is the, what is the meaning of capital employed? It includes equity share capital, preference share capital, reserves and surplus, and statement of profit and loss account if it is the profit. All these items is called as the capital employed. Okay, the next one is the third ratio in the solvency ratio, proprietary ratio. Proprietary, so from the name itself, it is very clear that what is the formula? Proprietors fund. Proprietors is called as the shareholders. Okay, so shareholders funds divided by total assets. So next we are going to see how to calculate the shareholders fund. So in order to calculate the shareholders fund, there is a two types of approaches. One is the liability side approach and next one is the asset side approach. Okay, so we can use, as per the problem, we have to use whether a liability approach can be used or asset side approach. Okay, but you should be very thorough in both the approaches. Okay, this is the formula for the proprietary ratio. Proprietors fund, that is shareholders funds divided by total assets. Okay, so see how they are calculating the shareholders fund. So we already studied all these points. The same points are given in this, that is shareholders fund. It includes the equity share capital, preference share capital, reserves and surplus, and any money received against the share warrant, and any money pending allotment which is not refundable. Only we have to include that part only. And while calculating the shareholders fund, we have to add the money received against the share warrant, and we have to include the, in reserves and surplus, what are all the items? That is capital reserve, general reserve, revaluation reserve, workman compensation reserve, retained earnings, and statement of profit and loss. So this is the liability side approach to find the shareholders fund, which we already studied. Okay, that is in the first ratio, that is debt to equity. Okay, in that, while studying that ratio itself, we studied what are all the items to calculate the shareholders fund. So next one is the asset side approach. In this, we have to include the non-current asset. Non-current asset means, so there is a different types of non-current assets. I am right. So in non-current asset, the first one is the fixed asset. So in fixed asset there is a two types, tangible which can be seen and touched. So some of the intangible, that is goodwill, patent rights, trademark, like that. Okay, next non-current investment. Okay, non-current investment means that is after 12 months, after 12 realized after 12 months from the date of balance sheet, that is the non-current investment. Next one is the current investment. Current investment is investment that is current assets which can be realized in cash and cash equivalents within the 12 months. It is called as the current asset. So in current asset, these are all the items. Okay, and we should not include the current liabilities. Current liabilities are trade payables, other current liabilities, and short-term provisions. And we should not include the long-term borrowings and long-term liabilities. These are all the debt. I'm right. So see, if the firm has given the long-term loans and advances or short-term loans and advances to the outsider, it should be added. This is the new point. Okay, keep in mind. So these two items we have to subtract. That is the current liabilities and long-term borrowings and long-term liabilities. This amount we should not take into consideration. But if there is a long-term loans and advances or short-term loans and advances to the outsiders, the another important point is this loans and advances provided to the outsiders, that amount should be added. This is the asset side approach. Okay, and we already know how to calculate the total asset. I'm right. So now see the sum. So in this sum, they asked to calculate the proprietary ratio. Long-term borrowings, whether we have to, if we are taking the liability side approach, we have to include this. Okay, so see, long-term this item should not be taken into account. Long-term borrowings, long-term provisions, current liabilities, non-current asset and current asset. So in this sum, first what is the formula? Proprietary fund, that is shareholders fund divided by total asset. So first you are going to find the total asset, means non-current asset will become in the asset side and current asset. So this two amount is equal to the total asset. The next one is shareholders fund. What is the shareholders fund? How to calculate the shareholders fund? As per the asset side approach, because the information is relating to the asset side approach. Okay, so we have to include the in the asset side approach, we are including the non-current asset and the current asset. I'm right. So we are subtracting the long-term borrowings and current liabilities. I'm right. So while calculating the shareholders fund, we are adding the non-current asset and current asset, and we are subtracting the long-term borrowings, long-term provisions and current liabilities as per the rules under the asset side. So in this sum they are using asset side approach. Okay, so what is the procedure? We have to include the current asset, non-current asset, and we have to subtract the long-term borrowings, next long-term provisions and current liabilities. Okay, so in this way we have to find the shareholders fund, and then we have to apply in the formula and we have to find the ratio. It's a very simple sum. Okay, so in this sum there is some of the asset. Plant and machinery is the tangible, land and building is a tangible, motor car is a tangible asset, furniture is a tangible asset, stock is the stock, debtors and cash at bank or the current asset. So these are all the tangible asset which is coming under the non-current asset. Okay, and non-current liabilities is there and current liabilities is there. Okay, so first you have to write the formula and how to calculate the total asset, that is all the tangible assets including the stock, debtors and cash at bank. All the amount is called as the total asset. I'm right. Next, how to calculate the shareholders fund. So in this sum we are having the, see, in liability side we have to find the shareholders fund. I'm right, this is the missing figure. What are all the information we are having? Total asset amount is we are having, we find out the total asset amount. Okay, I'm right. Next, in this liability side the current liability is there and non-current liabilities is there. Okay, so total asset equal to total liability, the same amount will come in the total liabilities. I'm right. So from the total asset, because total asset equal to total liability, so from the total asset if you are subtracting the current liability and non-current liability, we will get the shareholders fund. Okay, it's a very simple sum. So next, this sum as the homework sum. Okay, the same procedure. So this sum is the, we already studied, no, changes. What is the changes and why there is a changes, we have to give the reason. Okay, so try to do this sums. The next one is interest coverage ratio. The next one is interest coverage ratio. So what is the formula? Net profit before interest and tax, that is before subtracting the interest and tax, what is the net profit, divided by interest payable on the long term debt. So interest coverage ratio equal to net profit before interest and tax divided by interest payable. Okay, so this is the formula. So see the first sum, calculate the interest coverage ratio from the following. Profit before interest and tax, it is given directly. Okay, long term loan is 12 lakhs and interest on loan is also given 1 lakh. So the amount is given directly. Okay, so in the sum we have to present the ratio in number of times. Okay, so see the meaning of calculating this ratio. This ratio is deals with servicing of interest on loan. That is, it is helpful in assessing the security of interest payable on the long term debt. So what is the need of calculating the interest coverage ratio? It is very helpful in assessing the security of interest payable. Okay, so interest is mainly payable on the long term debt. So it is valuable for the debenture holders. So this ratio is valuable for the debenture holders and for the long term fund providers. So who are providing the fund for the long term. So for that persons, this ratio calculation is valuable. Okay, and it explains the relationship between the net profit before interest and tax and interest payable on the long term debt. Okay, so this is the meaning of calculating the interest coverage ratio. So keep in mind, so interest coverage ratio should be expressed in number of times. Number of times is a very important. Okay, so in this sum it is given directly. So what is the net profit before interest and tax? That is 3 lakhs divided by interest payable is also given directly. If it is not given directly, there will be the percentage of interest. So from in the long term debt, you have to calculate that certain percentage and find the amount of interest on long term debt. Okay, so very simple sum. So see the next sum, net profit after. So first we have to write the formula. What is the interest coverage? What is the formula? Net profit before interest and tax divided by interest on long term debt. Okay, so in this sum, net profit before interest and tax is given in directly. Okay, the next, net profit after interest and tax is given after subtracting the interest and tax, but as per the formula we have to calculate before interest and tax. Okay, so next, so first you have to write the net profit after tax, that is 30,000. In this, first we have to take 40% of tax rate. Okay, so net profit before tax will be, how to calculate, that is 100 divided by 60. So tax rate is 40%. Okay, so 100 divided by 60, that is 100 minus 40, the balance is 60. In order to calculate the net profit before tax, I am right. Okay, so what is the another way? So for example, in this sum 30,000, so first we have to find the 40%. What is the 40%? That is 12,000. Okay, so next we have to consider the percentage, that is here it is the 40%. So 30,000 into 100 divided by 60. So what is the meaning for that? We have to know that now, that is the remaining percentage is 60%. So we are writing in the denominator. Okay, so we are not writing in the numerator, we are writing in the denominator. Okay, so 100 divided by 60 equal to 50,000. This is the net profit before tax. The next one is the interest on debentures. So in this 5 lakhs, what is the rate of, see the sum, 15% debenture. So this 15% is the interest on debenture. So 15% is the interest percentage. Keep in mind, this 15% is the interest percentage. So interest on debentures. So in this 5 lakhs, we have to find 15%. So this is 75,000. This is the interest amount. Okay, so as per the formula, we have to calculate the net profit before interest and tax. So net profit before tax plus interest. Okay, net profit before tax plus interest. So what is the amount? 50,000 plus 75,000, that is 1,25,000 is the net profit before interest and tax. Okay, and next, interest payable we already calculated, that is 75,000 we already calculated. This is the interest amount, no, that is interest on long term debt. Okay, so the answer will be come in number of times, that is 1.67 times. Okay, this is also very simple sum. So in this sum, see, net profit after interest and tax is given, rate of tax is given, 15% debentures and 12% mortgage loan. Okay, so see the sum. So first we have to write the formula, that is net profit before interest and tax divided by interest on long term debt. This is the formula, no? So now we are having net profit after interest and tax, that is 1,20,000. Okay, so in this we have to calculate the amount of tax. How much amount? See, rate of tax is 40%. Okay, see the sum. In this 1,20,000 we have to put in the reverse manner, that is 1,20,000 into 40 by 60, and we have to add the amount of interest also. Okay, what is the interest? That is 15% debentures and 12% mortgage loan. Okay, so we have to find separately. That is, in 1 lakh 15% we have to find the amount. This is the interest on debentures, I am right, that is 15,000, and there is another loan, long term debt. So this two items are called as the long term debt. So in this long term debt we have to find the interest. This interest is to be added. Okay, and 12% in which amount we have to find? In 1 lakh. So 1 lakh into 12 by 100, that is 12,000. See the sum. So only we are adding 15,000 plus 12,000, so totally 27,000. Okay, so what is the total amount? 2,27,000 is the net profit before interest and tax. So divided by interest on long term. What is the amount? Interest 15,000 plus 12,000, that is 27,000 is the interest on long term debt. Okay, so the result will be in number of times 8.4. Okay, so today we finished the solvency ratios. What are all the types? First one is debt to equity, second one is total asset to debt, third one is proprietary ratio, and next one is the interest coverage ratio. Okay, so I will send you all the sums and also the homework sums from the NCERT and another book, okay, question bank book. So practice all the sums related to this method. Okay, so next class we will continue the next type of ratio, that is turnover ratio or activity ratio. So in this turnover ratios also we are going to study about the 4 types of ratio: stock turnover ratio, debtors turnover ratio, creditor turnover ratio, and working capital turnover ratio. Okay, so we will see in the next class. Thank you, students.